Welcome to the Crown Dungeon. This is as far into the game as I've recorded as of recording this commentary, and it is the biggest bastard I've experienced thus far.
Yeah, so this dungeon is probably the first really difficult dungeon of the game. The last one gave you a little bit of a taste, but this one just kicks you in the ass. And the dungeon theme doesn't help.
No. How did you describe it?
It's like someone just bashing on a Casio keyboard, I think.
You mean like this?
Beautiful. I love the remix. Good job.
No, I'm sure there's some black keys in there. There we go.
We're gonna upload that to iTunes later. You can download it.
That does not deserve to be paid for. So the gimmick for this dungeon, I don't think we've really seen it yet, but there are these orbs we'll see around the floors, which are red or blue. Depending on what color is active, then also around the dungeon, these floor tiles will be down in the ground and you can cross through them.
They come right out of Link's Awakening.
And you can shoot over those tiles, so there's a couple trick shots you'll have to do, or at least distance shots.
One of the reasons this dungeon sucks is the first time we see Beamos, and they are bitches in this game.
I don't believe you can kill them.
Nope, can't kill them. And sometimes it seems like their aim is just a little too perfect.
Sometimes. They almost lead the shots. One nifty trick you can do, you can get on top of those tiles as you activate the buttons. Which almost makes it pointless. Now, this dude can't really use those gust seeds to get rid of him, but you can shoot him from a distance.
Yeah, apparently his armor is weak to scent seeds.
I find he's easier to hit on the side opposite of the hand he's using to swing the ball and chain.
Yeah, how I usually fight those guys is I charge up a spin attack, and I wait until they're done throwing the mace, and then just kind of spin on them. Lather, rinse, and repeat.
Now, I hate to break kayfabe and everything, but I do practice these dungeons before I do them, and this is one case where I was very glad for that, because this is a floor where you can't see the floor. One trick, you can drop seeds on the ground. I prefer the ember seeds because they actually disappear quickly, and any place where they just fall into the abyss, you know you can't walk there.
This won't be the last time we see that gimmick.
Joy.
Do you remember pushing things?
So when we come to that room, we sort of get a hint that that's not the only thing that's returning from A Link to the Past.
Right.
I was trying to be quick.
No, you can't really speedrun this one. How good is your memory?
Pretty poor, because I had to do this 3 times. And it's not even for the placement of these statues, it's for forgetting not to push any of them against the wall. Because when you do that, you can't pull them away from it.
I've made a huge mistake.
There's sort of a trick to help remember it. Remember the placement. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But the 3 of them are sort of above the center tile. It sort of forms an oval around them.
Alright, you're doing it right this time. You want to set up the left set of statues before you do the right, because otherwise you leave yourself with barely any room.
So like that. So the left yellow statue and the right red statue will be the only ones touching that center tile.
Right. And hello, old friend.
We got the Cane of Samaria. Again, returning from A Link to the Past. This is a cane. It's deceptively useful. You just activate it, and it creates a block, which we can just use to hold down. You can attack with it. It's not super useful, but if you manage to put the block on top of an enemy, it will damage it.
Yeah, it doesn't shoot fireballs like the one in Link to the Past, though. But it can be used to trap enemies, which is nice.
I need to remember that. Like, in the cases where I come across those guys. I believe this is a path you only want to come down once. You need the Cane of Samaria to get here, but once you've gotten whatever's at the end of this path, you don't need to come back here. Now these statues will move at the same time. However, if you use the cane to put a block in front of one of the statues to prevent it from moving, then you can push the other one and it will stay in place.
Extreme caning. That jingle almost timed with the music.
Almost.
If it could be called music.
Come on. I want to kill one thing. Or not, never mind.
One of your goals in the game should be to kill a Keese with every single weapon.
Including the power bracelet. Remember to turn that one back to red, otherwise you will not be able to get back. You'll have to go all the way back to reactivate it.
Which is just another fuck you from the dungeon. Deppy most totally led that shot.
You can see why I love the Ember Seeds. These guys just disappear.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they're red or blue, one Ember Seed will kill them.
Ah. Another situation where we need to move that diamond over to the switch.
Or you could have just caned it.
Or that. So weird, it has one general use. Just put down a block, and I can't even remember that.
Yeah, it's easy to forget you have the cane because there's certain situations and puzzles that are basically designed for it, and then after that it's not really useful in general gameplay. So I can see why 3 minutes after you got it, you forgot you had it. If there's one item you use more than anything in this whole game, it's the seed shooter.
Yeah. Like, specifically by design, not just because it's great.
No, you messed up.
No, I just need to go around.
So this dungeon, it gives you the item really early. We're not even halfway done. And we had this cane for quite a while.
Yeah, and you don't even use it that much.
Well. Oh, this is a nice puzzle.
This is another trick shot room. You see when you hit that thing with a seed, its eye opens up. So just need to hit all three at once.
Yeah, the eye only stays open for like half a second, so... I love the seed shot bank puzzles, those are great.
And you sort of get one of every seed in that room. No.
Leave me alone.
Now this room, this is actually something which I'm completely stealing from your LP.
Mm-hmm.
The game wants you to use the Pegasus seeds, so you can jump across there easily, but if you get it just right, you can sort of climb up the ledge.
Yeah, I was going to say that earlier in the Goron cave, you were doing the Pegasus jumps, and you really didn't need the Pegasus seeds in that cave. You do your jumps right. So this is a mini-boss straight out of Link's Awakening.
Pick up the big, whatever that is, the big boulder. Throw it at him. I don't think in Link's Awakening the ball would actually disappear, though.
Yeah, that's the only change.
It's to keep you from hoarding it.
Although you pretty much hoarded it anyway. Poor little guy didn't have a chance. I think this is the first dungeon that actually has Dark Nuts as a regular enemy inside of them, too.
Yeah. That's another pressure switch. This late in the dungeon?
Yeah, that'll be useful for the 8 rooms I haven't seen yet.
And it doesn't help you figure out how to get to any of these rooms.
Yeah, the Crown Dungeon has a lot of map transitions. If you look at the map, there's a lot of rooms that aren't really adjacent to each other, so there's a lot of staircases and such. Another reason it's annoying. It makes navigating it pretty hairy. It's almost like the game was giving you a hint. Please use the Gale Seeds.
No, 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 no.
I'm gonna get him.
I don't think you need to kill those guys, though. Just go into the stairwell.
Nah.
It's kind of funny with those enemies that have the swords just pointing out. Because it just depends on their placement, you can hit them no problem.
It's like the Bart Simpson joke where they're walking around. So I'm gonna put this sword in front of me, and if it hits you, it's your fault.
This room only exists for you to get hit by the anti-fairies, and for you to activate that switch.
I love how you trapped that one, though.
I'm pretty proud of that. Don't just need blue active, and then you can go down that stairwell.
So, I'm gonna say right now, it's a good thing you practiced this dungeon, because I can't imagine your very first blind run went this fast.
No, it did not. You know, I mentioned getting lost. Yep, happened quite a bit.
It's pretty easy to do.
Now, I made that switch red just so that I could get that treasure chest. You need it blue in order to progress. This is what I was talking about. When you're on his right-hand side, he's able to block your attacks more.
I wish we could get the ball and chain in this game.
That would be pretty sweet in 2D.
Right? Come on, developers. Let's do this.
Maybe even game-breaking, but hey. Now, one of the reasons I got kind of stuck was because that never clicked in my head.
Oh, right.
Just use the block as a stepping stone.
Alright, so remember that room earlier where the 2 statues moved at the same time?
Now, every statue of the same color moves at the same time. Bring him to me.
Yeah, the owl. Bring everything to me. So this one makes you think a little bit more out of the box, but once you also remember that you can use the other blocks and the owl to stop blocks from moving, it kind of makes it a little bit easier. And it also doesn't matter what order the blocks are, so that's really nice.
Although if you do it this way, you only really need to use the cane once. Because the rest of them are sort of in a line, it's just they're placed in funky places.
Mm-hmm.
But do it like that, nice and neat.
The owl's like, sweet pattern, bro.
Too bad I'm colorblind. Or I was colorblind, I don't know.
And it's boss time already.
You say already.
Yeah, this boss has a few phases.
He's got a few tricks, too. He wants to play a sort of annoying game with me. He's going to split into bits. He's going to drag me to the center of the room. He's going to set down some blocks. These little guys are going to float around, sort of like clouds. I don't know, it feels like something from another Mario game. But only when I bring those pieces together using the Cane of Samaria will I actually be able to hurt him. Now, this specific phase right here, I would argue, is the most difficult, because it's very tricky to get them all together. When they combine like that, they never go into the middle set of blocks there. You need to find a way to drag him over there. And it's sort of a case of placing a block on that far left one, and then just sort of getting lucky when you place another block next to the middle set. If that happens, if he starts floating out to the outer walls, that's really not going to work. You have to press that switch in order to reset the entire phase.
Right, so they gave you a reset button, because this boss tends to do that quite often. You can also hold him with your sword.
No, I thought I could stall him here, but no.
Well, that is viable if you can make it line up right.
There we go. And yeah, if he flies into you, you just seizure out.
One thing I hate about this boss is... Listen. So why does the dungeon music come back on for like 3 seconds while he's floating you around? There's no reason for that.
That didn't work.
Yeah, if you disappear the Samaria block while one of the clouds is on it, it will just go away.
But yeah, only that second phase is the real tricky one. Which is probably because it's the only one that teaches you how to get these guys 2 different blocks using the Cane of Samaria, finagling that space. It's a little tricky. Also, you're probably going to lose a lot of health just from these little blue clouds flying out at you.
Oh, it makes it so annoying.
That one's a lot easier, because you only have 1 space between each block.
Great job, McFly. And that's it. He wasn't too bad.
The second time he wasn't.
Right. You got a fern. That's the soil somehow.
You got the sacred soil, and something else stuck in it. All things will be warm once they're buried.
Oh hey, I just remembered, there's another dungeon up here.
Yeah, we're not leaving the area yet.
Yeah, so they crammed 2 dungeons in the Goron zone. I was just mindlessly bashing my head against the wall and I ended up here. Oh, and boy are they.
Yep, next time, whole lot of mini-games.
Are you ready to lose all your money?
I came here and was a little confused. That's actually just the path back.
Right.
That's not the new area, it's the hole on the right. But we'll deal with that next time.
They've got skee ball. Are you a bad enough dude to rave party dance with the Gorons?